What if you're not actually lazy? What if the nervous system that you have has adapted into an energy conservation state from chronically being stressed out and it just hasn't had the opportunity to change? This type of information can be quite empowering because sometimes we make this shit up, the story about ourselves that are super critical, that are not really unnecessary. And so when we learn about this nervous system state called shutdown, this can really help us to understand and, of course, lead to healing and immediately take action to get out of this state. Not a lot of people are familiar with this state. So, this is one of the states that I really love talking about because it resonates with a lot of people, especially if you find that your tolerance for any activities is low. And if you just don't have any energy, you're chronically fatigued, energy levels are a bit of a mess, and there are a lot of depressing and hopeless type thoughts. So, what I'm going to talk about today is this shutdown state, what it feels like in our bodies, because our physiological state in our bodies affect the stories that are coming in our heads, that are going around in our heads, and it 100% affects the thoughts. So, when we actually work with our bodies, which I'm going to show you how to quickly shift out of the state. Once we actually work with our bodies, the mind follows. So, this is an approach in the nervous system regulation world where we focus on our bodily sensations to influence our mental health. So, if you're finding that it's difficult to take action, you can't really muster up the energy, it's sometimes very difficult to string ideas together, even connect with your body at first, then definitely keep listening. So the shutdown state, what this is actually the third line of defense in our survival mode. And once what we get to this place because we have completely exhausted the other lines of defenses. So we've tried to fight or flight the stressor in front of us, and somehow we cannot manage that stressor. So our body then goes into an energy conservation state. And one of it is shut down. We'll talk about freeze the next time. That's part three. But once fight or flight is ineffective at dealing with the stressors. Then we go into energy conservation, which is shutdown, which really feels like we are just disconnected, literally shut down. We in this state we want to just hide and isolate from the world. There's a lot of not wanting to connect with others, even with ourselves in this. A lot of the time some dissociation happens as well where we can feel physically present but our mind is just not there, either in our day-to-day lives or when we're with others. And in this state, motivation is difficult to come by. Why? Because our bodies think that we are in that third line of defense, that we need to conserve energy. So therefore, motivation does not easily come by. There's a physiological state that actually happens when we don't have the motivation. And of course, in this state, it is easy to fatigue because we have run out of resources and energy from trying to fight off the stressors in our lives for a long time because we haven't been able to take care of ourselves and manage ourselves. You know, we have gone into shutdown phases. A lot of us have, definitely I have. And one of the things that I'm actually going to tell you today, which is going to blow your mind, is that relaxing more and the typical meditation type exercises don't actually work in this state. Because think about it this way, this is actually quite simple and very mind blowing. If our energy levels are down here and we're trying to relax our system, which is lower our energy, Is that helpful when our energy levels are here? Say we're at 20% and we're doing something relaxing like meditation, right? That is and that particular meditation that we're doing is for relaxation. So energy levels are already 20%, and now we're relaxing ourselves. So then now we're 10%. And is that what we want? Unless that's what you want, unless you want to sleep and stay at 10%, that is going to help. But if we're at 20% and we want to increase that, something like meditation with the intent of relaxation is gonna be worse in this state. So what do? We then, if our levels are 20 and we want to go up to 40%, what do? We need to add fuel to the system, right? At this moment in time, in shutdown, our system has very, very low energy. So we need to increase energy. Very simple. There are many ways that we can do this. Obviously, what are the types of food you're eating, right? The type of foods that we're eating can highly influence this. So making sure that we are actually eating protein and fats, and because sometimes those carbs can also make us dip, being very, very mindful of which types of food affects your energy levels as well is a massive thing. But also there are other ways that we can actually move out of it. And, the thing is, like I mentioned before, if we just keep on grabbing onto, the 1 to 2 breath work or the meditation that is meant for relaxation when we're in a depressed state, that doesn't make any sense, because why would we lower our energy levels when we're already low, right? Inside the neuroplasticity workshop, we very much focus on specificity, because doing the right things with the right state at the right time in the right sequence is super important to help us get out of the state. And so one of the exercises that we use in there that you have access to is learning how to work with our posture. So when we're shut down, obviously I'm not shut down right now, but I'm going to mimic what it feels like to be in shutdown, which is usually you're more reserved, right? You want to hide, you want to not be seen. There's maybe some shame in it. It is very difficult to string ideas together. We get fatigued very easily. So we're usually like in a hunch over phase. Sometimes like we're just lying down in bed or in the couch like this, and we can't even move. So when we're in this state already, like if you look at my body right now, I'm trying to be flaccid. There, I'm like more flaccid now. Do you think if I want to start moving, if my goal was to start moving, that I would do relaxation practices in this state? Is that helpful? No, it is not. I have tried that. It didn't work. So when we're in shutdown phase, we need to add energy in our system. And how we do that is literally posture. So I am here, and if we're lying down, the most simple way that we can add energy to the system is to sit up. That is it. Try sitting up and really focusing on your posture. So right now, when you're sitting, even try this out and see how much of a difference it makes in your energy levels. Right now, when you're sitting, feet on the floor, push down onto the floor, making sure that your sit bones are also anchored onto your chair, whatever it is that you're sitting on, and pretend that there is a string up here at the crown of your head that is lifting you up as you press your feet down onto the floor. How does that feel like right now in your energy? So, string on top, pulling the crown of the head, ass down, ass bones down, making pressure on whatever it is you're sitting on and pushing your feet down onto the floor. How does that feel in your posture? How does that feel like energetically? How does that feel like in your mood right now? I'm feeling pretty good. I don't know about you. This feels really good. How is that with your energy? How does that influence your thoughts? So if you were in shutdown and you're not feeling very motivated, lift yourself up physically. Stay here for as long as you need in order for you to start mobilizing that energy in your system and see a massive difference. Very, very simple practice that can be used for the times when we're not motivated. Like, I don't know about you, if I'm motivated, I ain't down here, right? Like, I am not, this is not a thing. So when we actually utilize our bodies and making sure that, again, feet on floor, push down on the floor, sit bones down, anchored onto whatever it is you're sitting on. Imagine it pushing down, and crown of the head string up to the ceiling. This is the posture that we want to be in to upregulate from a shutdown state. Again, stay here for as long as you can, to up until you feel enough energy in your system that you can start moving and do whatever it is that you were meaning or wanting to do. So I hope this helped. How was that exercise just to get you up, up regulated? And how did that feel in your body? What does shutdown feel like in your body? Because this type of awareness is really, really powerful when we can learn how to attune with our bodies, because our bodies are always communicating our internal state. And once we just turn inwards, even just for a few minutes, like I'm just talking to you for a few minutes. And if you did that exercise, how much did that increase your energy to keep going? Like it literally maybe took a minute, right? A minute to five, maybe. A simple practice like this that we can do in real time to shift our state is super valuable, right? How much value do you think, how much power do you think you'll have now that you have the agency to actually change your state at any given moment on in time based on what you want to do at that moment in time? Very, very powerful, right? So if I was in shutdown, if I wasn't feeling motivated and I was like, oh shit, I'm doing this live in 5 minutes, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing that thing that I told you about. Ground down through your feet, push down, anchor your sit bones. I want to say ass bones, but anchor your sit bones down onto whatever you're sitting on, and crown of the head up to really increase to lengthen your spine so that you are in a place where you can regulate your system from a lower shutdown state and then be able to get out of that hump, out of that hump and start taking action. So like I said earlier on, what if you are not lazy, right? It's just a pattern that your body has learned because it has been stuck in energy conservation mode for a long time. And I was a victim to this too. I was using the wrong tools at that particular moment in time. I was using relaxation, meditation type tools when what I needed was to get my ass up and move. So I hope that this was definitely valuable, because this was a mind-blowing, life-changing information that I definitely learned afterwards through nervous system regulation practices